video, my first video of 2020, my first video in quite a while because I've been absent. I have been dealing with some major life issues. I'm healthy. I am very fortunate, and I know that. But even with that, life happens, and life, we all have to go through what I've gone through the past 2 months. Doesn't make it any easier. So in December, my father passed away. He had a stroke 3 years ago, and handled everything pretty well until about Thanksgiving. And then he started having some major issues with his speech, meaning he had another stroke, but he actually had brain cancer, and later we found out he had bone cancer, which explained why he was always complaining about hurting. We just thought he was complaining, but he was in pain. And it was a very fast decline. He passed away on December 22nd, and it's tough. So I'm not going to talk about it anymore. In addition to that, my son had major surgery the same week that my dad passed away, and he handled it great. I'm going to put in a picture of the x-ray. It's one of those panoramic x-rays because it was oral surgery, and you can see all the metal parts that are in my baby's face, and the fact that he handled it so well amazes me. They reduced the length of his mandible, and they actually extended his maxilla. So, good Lord, I did not want them doing that to my baby, but they did. He handled it really well. It has changed his looks. For the first 2 weeks after, it looked like he had a pair of false teeth in, like fake teeth, and now I'm getting used to it. He's so cute though. He has the braces that he has hooks to put all the bands that they needed to keep his jaw closed, and he's like, it's hard to close his mouth, and he's like, and just closing his mouth because his lips have to go farther over, so he's like, I'm having to learn how to like close my mouth again, which is kind of cute. And he was showing me he kind of does this puff thing and closes his mouth really quickly so that his lips go over. It's hilarious to watch him do it. I'm not going to show you, just you can imagine. He also says that when it's cold outside, it makes all the metal in his face cold too. So he's been wearing a muffle, kind of a big scarf that my mom made for his dad. He wraps that around, and people think he looks weird because we're in South Mississippi. Cold is, we're not having a cold winter, but he's walking around with this thing wrapped around his face because the metal gets cold. Makes sense. He's a cute boy to begin with, and he just has the best personality about all of this. He was amazing for my mother during my dad's service. I told Marlene that he just made me proud. My last video, since the beginning of the year, I've actually had the chance to go to 2 of Katrina's get-togethers. One was an official retreat. We went to the Huntsville Retreat, and the other one was a get-together because we're all big buddies and we wanted to get together and do some finishing. So the Huntsville Retreat was so much fun. We went to Huntsville, Alabama, stayed at the Drury, which is really nice Drury in Huntsville. It was me and Lisha and Bridget and Sharon. And we had a great time. We got to meet Jenny, Long Dog Stitcher, who is one of the funniest people I've ever met. She is so funny and sweet. And poor thing, she experienced the whole kind of me getting all sad talking about gardens because it made me think of my dad, and you know how that goes. But she handled it well. Lisha's like, she doesn't know what's going on, Jennifer. I'm like, I can't help it. But Jenny handled it well, and she is as funny as she is on her video, even better. I mean, she is so funny and sweet. I really enjoyed meeting you, Jenny. You're amazing. Who else? I met Arlene Grimm, who was super sweet. She comments on videos all the time, so it was really nice meeting her. I met a lady. There was one table that was near us that won all the prizes. They're like the luckiest people ever. And one of the ladies there, Leslie, has the best sense of humor. She was very quiet, but when she said things, they were hilarious. We sat with a new person, April, from Georgia, I believe. She's really interesting. Super smart lady. And she does all kinds of really cool things. She got all of our, different references to some nerdy stuff, which she just fit in with us really well. But April was sweet. Plus, she has me interested in geocaching now. I really want to do that. So, and there were lots of other people there. Betty, sweet, her name fits her. There are two people that I've met in my life whose name are perfect for them. Betty Sweet, because she is super sweet. And one of my students whose last name is Smiley, because he is the smiliest person I've ever met. But Betty was there, and Betty is she's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Pam, who we get to meet at these Stitch get-togethers a lot, and Jennifer, and there were lots of you. So I really enjoyed meeting and getting to spend time with some of you that I only get to see at Katrina's retreats. We also went the next weekend to Franklin, Tennessee. It's kind of more of a girls get together there were just like 5, 6, about 8 of us. So there wasn't a big crowd, and we were just there to finish some of our cross-stitching projects. And I'm going to go through those in just a minute. But I get to spend time with my Katrina, and y'all know how I feel about Katrina. Katrina is doing videos now. She's Pajama Stitcher. I know she has 2 videos. She told me she had a 3rd and was uploading that last night. So Pajama Stitcher should have 3 videos. She has been stitching like a crazy woman. She says in her 1st and 2nd video that she's crazy. When you see the progress she's had this year already, she's been stitching like a crazy woman. So you need to watch her video. Pajama Stitcher. If I remember, I'll link that below. Right after that, I went back to school. Classes started, which is okay. I'm teaching 3 large classes, 2 sections of Anatomy and Physiology 1, and 1 section of Genetics. So I'm not teaching the 2nd semester of A&P this time. They needed me to teach Genetics, which I'm excited about. A&P 1 and Genetics are my favorite classes to teach. So this is like a great semester. But then they added on top of that the capstone course, which I hate teaching, and I'm having to teach that. I'm really upset about that. But I'll get over it because I've got a good group of students. I got really good students this semester, so hopefully that will continue. I'm growing out my gray. I think a bunch of us are doing that, which is, I don't know if subliminally something was on Flosstube or Instagram, but everybody that I know that was coloring their gray is now just growing it out. I kind of like it. Got a new hair. Well, this is the same haircut I've had, but I just got my hair cut the other day, and I really like it. Kateri did a great job. So this is I took the advice of Nicole, Marlene, and Kathleen and decided to get this haircut. I think they helped me out a lot, so that's not stitching. Stitching-wise, I've been doing a lot of stitching. It's very meditative, so it helps me. And I was going to do a whip parade, and I was going to do a finish parade and all of that, and I just didn't get to it, and it's too late in the year to start that. So maybe I'll do a June mid-year whip parade. So I also promised to do a tutorial of 1/1 stitching, but I just, things have been happening, and I haven't gotten around to it. So instead of doing a whip parade, what I'm going to do is show you the FFOs that I have from the Franklin get-together. I'm going to talk about my stitching plans for 2020. I'm going to show you the finishes, the FOs that I've had since the beginning of the year, and my plans for the next week. I also have a special edition, which I'll talk about later on. You're going to be so excited. It's a really cute insert, which you'll see in just a little bit, to add to that. So, and I've got a little bit of haul to share, but not that much. And then I'm going to end with a shop update, just a short one, because I've made some changes thanks to some advice from Tangi. So, I'll start with my finish parade. So these are things that I finished at our get-together. Excuse me. I'm sorry, there's going to be noise. There's going to be clunking and crinkling. Some of us like that noise. I love that noise, but who was it? I think it's Southern Pretty Southern says it's like Pavlov's dog. You hear that and it's like, ooh, something new's coming up. So I'll get to that, this other stuff. I got a bunch of, I've had this bag in my craft room since we got back from the retreat, and apparently we just piled a bunch of stuff on top of it. All right, so here we go. One of my finishes for January, I've already FFO'd, and it's this little guy. This is the Cat in the Moon by Brenda Gervais, and I finished it according to her instructions. Isn't that cute? So that's just one of those peat pots, and there's a piece of cardboard, and then crepe paper and wire that you paint. Oh, that was so cute. Now I want to do all of this series. I think she's got like a strawberry basket, several of them. So that's one. Okay. I finished, this is from Priscilla's Pocket. She had these, they're stoneware rabbit. She has these each year at market. And I stitched this last year, and I just FFO'd it. And it's just stuffed with polyfill, like lots and lots of it. But I thought that was cute. I'll put that out at Easter. And I also did the cat. So that's the Priscilla's Pocket Stoneware Cat. I love that one. So cute. And it's just backed with that Lady Dot velveteen. I tried to do, you know, Stephanie from Lindy Stitches showed that, like, you clip and just pull and the little pom-poms came off. I clipped and I pulled and all my pom-poms came apart. I mean, they just, like, turned into fluff. So I don't know what I did wrong. Maybe I'll ask her at market. But isn't that cute? Okay, let's see. All right, here is another Brenda Gervais. This is Basketful of Summertime. Love it. And it is stuffed with polyfill and walnut shells. And I just backed it with a piece of this fabric left over from another project. That's some Blackbird Designs Blueberry Crumb Cake series. Isn't that cute? We made lots of pillows. Another Brenda Gervais. I want to put something around this. I didn't like it. It's very plain, but this is Spirits and Spells. And I just ordered these online, so I just put it on top of that. Okay. This was at market last year, and I just messed it up. Okay, tuck it, tuck it. It was from Samplers Not Forgotten. I don't remember. It was one of the little exclusive kits. I did not get these at market, but I think Teresa at Kitten Stitcher may still have some because she was telling me she got to reorder some of them. So cute. Little pin cushion. I finished 2 of the little mice. This is Mrs. Claus. She's got a little cookie. Isn't she pretty? And her little hat. And then this is Jingle Bell Mouse. Isn't that cute? I lost this bell when we were at the finishing retreat, and I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. It was looking weird because it says Jingle All the Way, and he didn't have a bell, but whatever, you know. Then when we were cleaning up, I found it. Like, that's strange, but I did find it under our table, or under Sharon's table. This is an old finish. This is one from 2012, so that's 8 years old. And this is a Blackbird design. I think it was in a magazine, so one of the Just Cross Stitch magazines. I don't know which one, but I love this. And I found this, I guess, where did we get this? Somebody else just did a finish on this as well. I think it was, I don't remember, but I found it for like $5. Is this at Walmart? Maybe at Walmart during the holidays. And I just think it's adorable. All right, I did a lot of framing. Okay, I have over in that corner, Jenny, you'll never see it, but over in that corner, a pile of ridiculous numbers of frames. It was worse 3 weeks ago. I decided that I needed to get rid of some of this stuff, so I took it and I spread it all out in this room, and I went through and I picked out the frames I knew I could use, And then I took the rest of them, loaded them up, and took them to Goodwill. So those frames that I decided I could use, I took with me, and I framed up pieces at this retreat. So here are some of the frames. This is the 'Tis the Season Sal. I just cut it off at the end. I didn't want to stitch the whole thing. So that's what I did. And I think it turned out as lovely as the large piece. And this is a 5x7 frame I got at Hobby Lobby for $2. It's kind of dusty. That will come back out at Christmas. My husband is mowing. I'm sorry. This is a sampler that Teresa stitched for me in one of our sampler exchanges. This is Be Happy, Humble, and Kind from Brenda Gervais. And this is a frame that I got at a thrift store. It had something framed in it. And I think it's perfect. That bluish gray tint matches the sampler perfectly. I get to hang these up finally. They've been in this bag since we got back from the retreat. Another Brenda Gervais. This is 3 Tulips. I love her series where it's a picture and then it's got the alphabets. The alphabet is all sprinkled around. I've done this one. I'm almost finished with 3 Black Eyed Susan. Feather Your Nest is another one that I love. With Brenda Gervais, 3 Tulips. And this is just a frame that I got at Hobby Lobby for $4.44. Raise the Roof, Boo Scurry Yum. Stitched on the original fabric that she had picked, but then found out later that was discontinued. But isn't that cute? And it barely fits, but it fits. There was actually another star up here. I took it off. This is a Hobby Lobby frame for, I think I paid $4 for this one. Originally it was $50. I did not pay that much for it. But isn't that cute? Here is an old one, and I got this frame from Marlene at Cross Stitch Peddler. This is from a one of those Christmas Remembered books that Leisure Arts had out in the 90s. I love that. I've had this in my box of FOs, not FFOs, for years, so I'm glad I've got that framed. And then this one, this is hilarious. So I've shown this on one of my earlier videos, but my mom taught us to cross stitch in the 80s, and probably 81, 82, probably 82. And this was my very first big project. And my mom used to fuss at me because I was always worried that people didn't like me. And she used to tell me, you know, nobody likes me. I'll go out in the garden and eat worms. Well, she found this chart and she convinced me to stitch it. And it's been in my finished box since 1983. So JLC, that's my original name. So this is a frame I got. I think I got this one from Marlene. Yeah, I got this from Marlene. And I think it's perfect. I'm going to put that in my kitchen. My mom almost cried when I showed her that. I'm like, you are such a mean mom. Tell me such mean things. Another thing that's I've been wanting to finish, and I was so excited. I got this probably at Walmart a year or two ago for $6, and it's Ghoul Tidings from, let me get it evened out, Plum Street. And I'm trying to decide if I need to add anything. Everybody's like, no, you don't need to add anything else. That looks perfect. I might try to re-stretch it, but it looks cute. All right, other finishes. This is a little Lizzie Kate piece, Flora McSampler, Farm Sampler, I think. And Sharon and I both finished this exactly the same, except she flipped it. So this is on the other end. So I thought that was really cute, little rickrack. And that fabric makes me think of my dad's shirts, so farmer shirts. My dad was a farmer. This is a finish that I didn't really think about, and then I looked online. I looked online after I did this and said, oh yeah, I probably should have looked at the instructions. But this is a Stacy Nash piece, the Jack sewing roll, and I just finished it with this fabric that we picked up at the Stitcher's Garden in Franklin. It's a nice homespun, and I just roll it up. It's all wrinkly. It's very prim. That's okay. And it's just the sewing mat that I'll put out at Halloween. And there we go. There should have been an extra part with a little place to put your needles. I didn't put that on there. Here's another Just Nan. This is a slider pouch, something like that. It's Nutcracker slider pouch. It's just an ornament. And lots of detail. I love these things. Almost to the bottom. Here's another Brenda Gervais. This is Basket Full of Summertime. Very cute, very simple. Just some bead fabric stuffed with walnut shells. I didn't take all my, I have a big bag of sawdust from when we built this house, and I didn't take it. I forgot it. So. All right. This next set is from Lizzie Kate. It's the Summer Smalls. Look how small these are. They're so cute. I love these. So all 4 of them are in the same chart. And they're just adorable. And I just made them into the little pillows. They have charms or buttons. Isn't that adorable? So cute. And that's the backing. Very prim. You know, that's my excuse. Don't you love this? When we do a not so great job, I just primmed it up. Oops. All right. And Ken Peck from Plum Street. Isn't that cute? Love the fabric. This looks better finished than it was just as the piece. The colors are more obvious. I don't know how that works. And then we did some drum finishes. Drum finishes are beautiful, but they're a pain to do. So I've got 3 that I want to show you that I'm excited about. First is Put on the Hat. This was the series from Hands On Design. Came with the velveteen to finish it. And this has, this is heavy because it's full of, what's that stuff called? Walnut shells. And I'll just put the little pins on it once I find them. Yeah, I didn't do the best job, but it's still cute. And then I had these 2 pieces that I stitched like probably early 2000s. 2003, 2004. And I loved them. And I've been wanting to finish them. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with them because I didn't want to frame them. And since we're doing these drums, I'm like, that's a perfect finish for these. So I've done 2. And I still have 2 left to stitch, but they're from Little House Needleworks, and it's the 2 house series. So this is the 2 red houses. Isn't that a perfect finish? Just a drum. I didn't do such a great job at the top, so I put that trim. But isn't that beautiful? I love this. It is like a doorstop, though. It's very heavy. And then my absolute favorite finish of the entire weekend was this one. And this is Little House Needleworks, 2 white houses. And I just finished it as a drum, and I think it is perfect. Isn't that adorable? And these, this was before drums were a thing, but they finish up as a drum perfectly. This is my absolute favorite. I cannot wait till the fall to put this out. These charts are available. There's 2 white houses, 2 red houses, 2 yellow houses, and 2 blue houses. I have red, white, and yellow charts in my shop. And I think I have the 2 blue houses in my own stash. If not, I'm going to have to find that because I'm going to do them all like that. I think that's beautiful. Because this is kind of like fall, That's very Christmassy. The 2 yellow houses is kind of springy, and the 2 blue houses are kind of summery. She's such a smart designer. So that was my FFO weekend. They've been in this bag that Teresa gave me. Isn't that cute? We're cat people. And Sally. But it's been in that bag since we came home on Martin Luther King Day. Been waiting to show you all of that. All right. So other things besides those finishes to show you have to do with my plans. I've been thinking very hard about what I want to do this year. I had, at the end of 2019, I had 79 whips. And I'm okay with that. But I want to get through those because there's a lot of other things I want to start. I decided that, like Brenda and Laura, Brenda and the Serial Stitcher, I was going to make up my own rules. I love rules, and then I love to follow rules about what 2020 stitching was going to be. And I decided I was not going to do any starts that were bigger than 100 by 100 stitches. And Teresa's she's always poking me, always trying to make me change my mind. She's like, what if it's 102 by 98? I'm like, it's too big. It has to be 100 or less. Unless I can get through 20 whips. If I can bring my whip count down by 20, then I can start any size project I want. So, probably not going to be doing any big projects anytime soon. I did not do a New Year, New Start because I have lots of things to stitch on. What I've decided to do is I'm going to pick a project and I'm going to stitch on that project until I finish it. Lisha is very proud of me. I'm doing this like Lisha would, even though she has lots of starts. She doesn't call them whips. But it's been very useful because I've had 5 finishes in January. So I'll show you what I've done. First of all, Jen from Quirks and Stitches is amazing. I did get her 24 hours of cross stitch planner, and I downloaded it and I printed it on cardstock and love this thing. This sits by my bed every night and I fill it out. I have a special pen that I use. My husband gave me this really nice ink pen with a nice tip to it. It's just gorgeous, and I use that to stitch to write in my journal. I have stitched every day so far this year. I almost missed a day because it was a very stressful day, but I stayed up late and stitched for 24 minutes. So I mark what I stitched on, or the major thing that I stitched on each day. Mark it off. I love to check things off. But my finishes this month. So in January, let's see, where's my list of finishes? I had 5 finishes. The first one, I don't know where it is. I'll insert a picture here. It is Greetings by Blackbird Design. This was in the Peppermint. It was in one of their books. What is it called? Peppermint and something. Anyway, it was one of their earlier Christmas books. And I had this one in there. This one has a very funny story. I had to get this thing stitched. Because you know how we have memories that go along with things that we've stitched? I was stitched on that thing on the worst flight I've ever been on in my life. I was in Salt Lake City for a conference, and I was flying home. So, of course, I needed to fly from Salt Lake City west to Los Angeles, and then back across the United States to Mississippi, because that's the best route. West and then east. That flight from Salt Lake City to Los Angeles was horrible. Not because of anything with the flight, but because of the people that I was suffering being around. There was a couple in front of me that had to be the same age as me, making out the whole time. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You are way too old for this. This is disgusting. And then sitting next to me was someone probably in her early 20s that really, I think her life ambition was just to bug people. She comes in, sits down takes her shoes off, crosses her feet, touching me with them, which I don't like, gets out her newspaper, which is in an Asian language, which doesn't bother me. She's not Asian. She's like me. And began to read it out loud, very loudly. I'm stitching. Because I know what this is about. I teach at a university. She's of that age that they just like to poke people, just aggravate. So I was one of 5, and I teach. I can ignore. And I stitched, and then she decided she needed hot tea. So she flagged down the person and got her hot tea and set it right at the end of her trade, right next to me. I continued to stitch and ignored her the whole flight until she finally just drank her tea, shut everything up, put her thing away, and just put her feet down. I'm like, good Lord, get me out of this place. So the flight from Los Angeles back wasn't as bad. So every time I stitched on that piece, that's what I thought about. And I hated that piece. It's done now. It's gorgeous. Again, I'll put a picture in here, but not good memories. The second thing I finished was the Cat and the Mouse. I finished this on the way back from the Huntsville Retreat. Lisha was driving, and so I stitched away. My third finish was Sampler Sisters of the Thread. This is, as far as I'm concerned, it's finished, but I'm taking it to retreats because you have people add their initials. So this is my finish. I don't iron. We're all good with that. But it is from Primitive Needle, and I stitched on this for 2 weeks, starting, I think, like January, I don't know, sometime early January. And then these are letters. I'm having people, different stitcher friends, add letters. So there's Ray and Katrina, and there's J is my initial. The S is Sharon's, and the T is Tangela's. Lisha and Bridget have to add their initials, and then I'm taking it to the retreat this weekend. I'm going to another retreat to get Leslie and maybe Betty and Pam, I think, is going to be there. Jennifer's going to be there. There's lots of us that'll be there. So that'll be a fun thing to add to this. So it's Sampler Sisters of the Thread. So that was my third finish for 2020. Oh, it's right there. I finished it on the 18th. So I started it on the 12th and finished it on the 18th. I also finished a Carriage House sampling piece. It's called Sampler Folk. I didn't have that much to do. It's just one of those things that's a little frustrating. But I finished that. Isn't it cute? That's on 40 count. What is it? 40 count Stars Hollow. The Sampler Sisters of the Thread is on 40 count vintage pair from Lakeside Linens. All right. And then my last finish for January was Alice from the Brooks Books series. Isn't that cute? Since I finished that, I finished her on the 21st. I've been stitching on Gigi from Nora Corbett. And I am almost finished. I'll finish it tonight if I have to stay up late. But that's my progress. I am not stitching the cat because the cat looks scary. But I've stitched her on a piece of 32 count gingerbread, I believe, from Picture This Plus. And I'm just adding the beads. So I've got the beads from her strands of beads that fall from her neck left to do. So that's beautiful. So that will put me at 6 finishes so far in the first 33 days of 2020. All right. I'm going to pause because I have a couple of other things I want to share with you. Back. So, a couple of other things I've been doing. So, I'm doing my stitching. I'm also doing the Star a Day, Hexagon Star a Day quilt. Remember that? Teresa and I were going to do that. Yeah, I'm doing it. Not doing so great. So, we decided we were going to do this. We got all the supplies. Teresa ordered more supplies than I did. I use my Cricut to cut out the little paper pieces because I'm going to do it using the English paper piecing method. And it came with these templates. Let me see if I can find the templates. Those may be downstairs. Yeah, it came with these little plastic templates, and I used that and used my Cricut Maker to cut them out. And the first star that I was doing came out to be this big. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I make 365 of those, that quilt's going to cover my entire house. So I went down to the smaller size, and that worked out better. And so today is the 33rd day of the year. I have two stars done. It's okay. I'll catch up. But aren't they cute? They'll go together. So that's my 2 stars. Okay, we'll get to them. I just need to kind of, right now I'm in the middle of, or right at the end of revising one of our textbooks. Yes, I've had 6 months to do it, and I waited, and now I'm like a month behind. But I have 2 chapters left. Tonight I'm going to finish one of those, and then I'll finish the other one on Tuesday. And we'll be done, and then I'll have my weekends back. So that's one of the other reasons I haven't been recording, is I've been revising chapters, developing new stuff, and I'm almost finished, but it's going to be amazing. We've done a really good job with this revision. Another thing, if you know me, you know I love to get obsessed about things. And one of the magazines I love is the Flow magazine. It's a a Dutch magazine that's about, relaxing and, just kind of mellow. And it's for paper lovers too. And they always release special editions. Well, one of the special things they had this year was this book, Your Flow Keep Calm Daily Craft Book, which is so much fun because it gives you a assignment to do each day crafty wise. I have not done it 360, I haven't done every day. I'm behind because some days I was on the road and I couldn't do it. But I'll show you some of the things that we've had to do. So the very first day, January 1st, stick a postcard here that matches your mood today. And so that's a postcard that I have because I was happy, but I was kind of discombobulated at this time. It was I still haven't recovered from my drama and trauma of 2019, but that was kind of my mood that day. The second was a fun thing. This was so much fun. So it tells you to make a stamp and do a stamp. So I did this. I went and prepared for this one and went and bought this one of those rubber stamp making kits. I found one on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and I made this chicken. Isn't that cute? So I did 2 different ones, and I have this paper from something my husband was doing, and I just put that between them. But then it makes your book look so cool. Look at that. Don't y'all love my chicken? I should make some note cards and put those in my Etsy shop. If you're interested, let me know and I'll do that. Another thing I'm doing, this is kind of cool, is you take pictures outside your house 7 days in a row at about the same time every day and post that picture. Well, that's a great idea, really cool, but how do you print those pictures? And that was an issue. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Then I watched Heidi Cran, and Heidi Cran shows what she's all into, and she showed something that I had to have immediately. The next day, I went and bought it. It's the sprocket. Have y'all seen this? It's the cutest little thing. Thank you, Heidi, because I went and bought it thanks to you. But it is this little magical box that Bluetooths with your cell phone, and it prints out little tiny pictures of your cell phone pictures. And so I started doing that with the picture outside my house, right off my porch. And I've got all 7 of them. I just have to print them and post them. But those pictures are pretty good for a little printer. Isn't that neat? I'm sorry, there. So I take the pictures about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. And we've had some really cold days, followed by really warm days, followed by really rainy days. So it's very interesting to look at. Let's see, what else? had to draw a picture of my cat. There's Elvis. Cut a silhouette of a rabbit. Do an alphabet. So just different things that are kind of cute. This one was neat. It says, have someone draw a doodle, and then you finish it as a picture. So the black line, my husband just scribbled that, and then I took that and drew this little dancing lady. So it's fun. Gives you something to do. And I'll keep doing that. This Flo also has every year their Paper Lovers book, and it's just all kinds of really interesting paper craft stuff. So I've got 2 of those now to help me with this. So I found mine at Books A Million. All right, speaking of my husband, you have not had a chance to meet my husband. My husband is a sweetheart. He has been described as kind. I describe him as sweet and good looking. And one of my bosses one time had not met him, but she had heard other people in our department talk about him. She and I were talking one day. She's like, I really need to meet your husband. He sounds like a magical creature. So he loves that he's been described as a magical creature. So I think you should get a chance to meet him. So we recorded one of the, significant other tag, and I'll insert that clip here. Hey Flosstube, it's Jen from Jen's Stitching Niche. I'm joined by Hobby, my husband. That's his real name, Hobby, like Bobby with an H. And he's going to participate in the significant other tag. I think that's what it's called. But essentially, I'm going to ask him questions about cross stitch and see how much he knows. So I'm going to let him introduce himself a little bit. So tell us about yourself, Hobby.
Jennifer's husband and Sally's friend. So.
And y'all know Sally is our 3rd child, the Boston Terrier. Hobby and I have been married for a long time. We got married when we were very young, but we celebrated our 29th wedding anniversary this year, so we've been married for a while. We've been together for more than we've been apart, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, and when do you remember me cross-stitching the first time?
You were always cross-stitching. When we started dating in the 80s, you had cross-stitching up in your room.
Yeah, I cross-stitched. I loved cross-stitching. It's my meditation, I guess.
Yeah.
I have to, if I can find the picture, I'll have to post it or put it in here of me cross-stitching with our first pet, which was a Siamese cat sleeping on my lap, which is hilarious. When I put the picture in, you'll understand. But yeah, cross-stitching has been a part of my thing for years and years. So I'm going to ask you some questions and see how much you've garnered over the years. Some of these terms I didn't use until Flosstube, so if he knows them, good for him. Do you know what a whip is?
Mm-hmm. It's a work in progress.
Very good. Apparently that is a term used in business, because Nicholas knew what that was too.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know either, because I said something about it, and our younger son Nicholas is a business major, and he knew what a whip was. Work in progress whip.
In geology, we didn't use those.
Yeah. Geologist. He's a geologist. Let's see. Do you know what linen is?
The fabric?
The fabric that I work on, yeah. Do you know what floss is?
That's the thread, which you're...
Yeah. When I talk about the count, like 36 count, 28 count, what am I referring to?
It's the spacing of the thread when you're looking at... I'm not going to use the right words for it, but the interweave mesh, or the kind of...
It's the number of threads per inch of the linen. He's so smart.
I always think of it as a DPI.
Yeah. You're so funny. So let's see. I'm trying to think of... Do you know what an FFO is?
Oh my goodness, I do, but I don't.
You do, but you don't. You sound like my students.
Yeah.
You want points for that?
No. It's just, I can't remember the sequence, but it's a... Oh no, I can't remember what it breaks out to, but it's a work that you've been working on but it's like you'll pick it up at random. Is that right?
No, that's a UFO.
Oh, UFO. Okay, yeah. I don't know what that one is then.
UFOs are unfinished objects. Usually, we use that when we're putting it in timeout that you're not going to work on it. Some people use the term UFO for what now most of us call give-ups. It's like we're never going to do that one again. But an FFO is all of these things, fully finished objects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody thought one of those F's stood for something inappropriate to say on Flosstube, but I mean, I could use that term for some of these. But FO is fully finished object. Okay, I think that's all the. Do you know what a SAL is?
I do not know what that word is.
Not a Sally, but a SAL is a stitch along. So a group of us will pick a project and we'll all stitch on it and post pictures on Instagram.
Yeah, I've seen y'all doing that.
Yeah. So, or we've done round robins before too. So a round robin is when, like, we all pick a project and then we exchange it with people and everybody gets a chance to stitch on someone else's project.
Yeah, I've seen y'all do that too.
Yeah, we did that. That thing that hangs over the window in our dining room. Mm-hmm. That's one that we did as a round robin with Alicia, Bridget, Sharon, and Maury. So he knows a lot. So what's your favorite thing that I've cross-stitched?
Well, one of the things I really like, and this is from long ago, and this is just simply because, excuse me, Sally, but I like this one for first, since this was as a reflection on it, trying to find a way to get it around.
It's hard to do.
But she did that a long time ago, back when we were very poor and young and poor and everything. So that was, has a lot of meaning.
Yeah, this is the Emperor. There was a pair of these. I think they were in like the color charts. I don't know. I got it at Crafts Etc. when I was working there. But it did not have, you can see I put beads on it. I thought I was very creative. I didn't know people were doing that. So I put beads on it. And I really liked stitching this one. And I tried to find the Empress, but I couldn't find it. And plus this frame was perfect too, and I can't get that frame anymore. Someone offered me a lot of money for this when I stitched it, but I didn't sell it. I gave it to you.
Yeah.
Because I love you. So, and that's when we were really poor. So, but, yeah.
And then the other one would be
one of these. He likes the blingier one. This one?
Yes. Yes, right.
So this is the Halloween Fairy from Nora Corbett. I won a prize for that one. I entered it in a silk weaver competition and won. Very competitive. I have to tell you when I win. Let's see. Was there anything else you can think of that I could ask you that you would impress everybody with?
I don't know.
So tell us about your sewing experience. He has done some sewing.
Yeah, I'm a Zen monk, and so when you're doing that, you have to do a lot of sewing. You have to make fabric and different kind of materials. I'm a former Marine, so the idea of sewing was never. I'm a martial artist, or I did a lot of fighting as I was growing up for about 40 years. So the idea of sewing was not I never thought I would be doing that, but I do a lot of, and this is one of the smaller things, one of the more recent things is we make these things from fabric. This is actually made from military uniforms from people that I served with.
What's it called?
This is called a rakusu.
See the detail? This is all hand sewn by him. This is like your third one you made?
Yes.
So, which is really impressive because he cut all these pieces of fabric, lots of little tiny pieces of fabric out of the uniforms from different people that have served in the military. Even using the Velcro for where they put their patches, I thought that was really creative. And you used this during your practice.
Yeah, and there's a larger piece we'll use on top of the robe, but this is the travel kesa, or the smaller piece. And on the back, when we have our Dharma name and everything, it's put on it's written on there when we take ordination. So
I love your Dharma name. What's your Dharma name now?
Genmako Koban. It means unquenchable hope.
Yeah, I love that. Very much hot.
And then Jennifer sewed this part for me because there's a little double stitching in there, and it's very, very difficult. And the older I get, my hands are kind of clumsy, or got arthritis, and she did the little shoulder, the pieces for me, And some other stuff on the larger piece, which is huge, because that was beyond my
so
skill.
imagine that piece multiplied by like maybe 50, because he had to make that for his ordination in December.
Yeah.
That was a family effort. We got it done though. So,
yeah, that was some difficult times too.
Yeah, it was good for the keeping our minds on different things. So, but yeah, this is my husband. He is the other half of me, I guess, and he's pretty supportive of my stitching. I remember one time I was sitting here and I was looking through magazines and I was like, oh man, I will never get to stitch all these things. I said, I just don't stitch enough. And your expression was like, you're like, good Lord, Jennifer, you got cross stitch everywhere. You stitch a lot. And I want to stitch it all. I literally think I need to stitch it all. But,
yeah, the house is full of cross stitching.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, it doesn't bother me. It's everywhere.
Yeah, he doesn't mind. The only person that doesn't want cross stitching in their room are the boys.
Yeah.
So that's okay. They'll move out. I'll take over. So. But well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good, nice to have met you.
Yeah. Thanks.
See you later.
Bye. So, isn't he sweet? He is a sweetheart. And he's pretty supportive. I'm a lucky person. I realize that. Let's see. What else do I need to share with you? Oh, I was going to show you my purchases. I haven't bought a lot because I've got plenty of stitching things. But I do want to show you what I purchased this week. I haven't been sleeping well. I wake up and I can't go back to sleep, which means I'm on the internet shopping. So, I'll show you. I think I just moved it. Let's see. I did get one cross-stitching thing. I was on 1-2-3 Stitch, and I went ahead and got the Lizzie Kate Halloween Mystery Sampler from last year. Those are horrible printing. Part 1, Part 2, but Part 3 you can see the whole thing. So I just ordered that. So I assume you can only get this through 1-2-3 Stitch, but I got the whole series, and then I also got the finishing pack. So that is cute. You know, I was up late at night and had to buy that. And then the other thing is, since I did that bunny, which I've shown you pictures of that before, I did one of those, what is it? Sparkles and Spirits is the name of the company. They have the little dolls, the Prim dolls. So I get, now that I bought something for them, they send me advertisements all the time. And, you know, usually I can avoid them. But this year I've decided I'm decorating my house. I'm going to be happy and I'm going to make my house happy. So I'm decorating. I'm accumulating decorations slowly. And that's okay. So for January, I took down our Christmas trees. It was late. I think it was like January 10th before I finally got around to doing it. But I didn't put them up until December 20th, right before my dad passed away. So they stayed up until about January 12th. And I took them down. And that day, Sharon and I went to Walmart near our house. And they had all their Christmas on sale. And I found a white Christmas tree. And I'm like, I'm going to put up a white Christmas tree for winter, for January. So I decorated the house for winter, January. The other thing I decided I was doing is I was going to find a Ray Dunn mug for each month of the year. So I found a cocoa mug for January, of course. And then I decided I was going to keep my white tree up and decorate it for Valentine's Day. So I have I put blue lights and blue and silver balls and little silver snowflakes on the tree for winter. Yesterday I took all of that off and I put red lights and red heart garland on the tree and decorated with all my Valentine's decorations in the house. And then I'm like planning. I have those the wax warmers. I have a blue and white one that's in our guest bathroom downstairs. And I did like really wintry smelling cocoa kind of smell wax. That all went away on February 1st, and now it's a crisp apple kind of red smell, and that's what I have. So I'm changing it each month. It's going to be so amazing. It's going to take me a couple of years to get to the level of Priscilla, but I'm on my way. I do have 2 Rae Dunn mugs for February because it's Valentine's Day. You got to have one for each partner. So I have a red one that says love and or love you, and then a white one that has the XOXO. So cute. I'm looking for, and I know, Chelsea, tell me if I'm wrong. Aren't they going to have some kind of mug for St. Patrick's Day? Shouldn't she have one that says luck? She should have one that says luck. If not, I found one that says Happy Spring, and I'll find an Easter one for April. But I really want one that says luck. So if anybody knows, let me know if that's going to happen. Okay, got off topic. So I found this. What is it? Sparkles and Spirits sent me an advertisement for the doll of the month, which was a snowman. It's too late to do it now because I took down my decorations, but I can make this year and have it ready for next year. And this is the snow. It's a snow lady. Her name is Nellie. And she's not going to be small. She's going to be big, like 2 feet, like my doll, my rabbit doll I showed on a previous video. But look at her. Isn't that adorable? I cannot wait to make her. So I've got everything. I got the wool pack, the accessory pack with this fuzzy stuff in it. I don't know about that. I guess that's her fur coat. And even the dowel rod. So this is how they stand up. So that's how tall. She's going to be a big girl. But that's what I've got. That was my purchase this month. So this is through Sparkles and Spirit. That's the name. And they have all kinds of dolls. Dina. They have lots of really cute Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy dolls, just so you know. I don't think they call them that, but they're really cute. You should look at them. So those are my purchases. That's my update. My stitching plans. So what I'm doing as I finish a project is I spin my Tiny Decisions app and it randomly selects one of my whips and I will focus on that till it's finished. So sometimes it picks a bigger thing like the Sampler Sisters of the Thread. Right now, the selection was for one of the little mice from Just Nan. It's the Santa gingerbread mouse. So I'll work on that today and tomorrow probably, or tomorrow and Tuesday probably. I'm leaving on Friday to go to the Orange Beach Retreat, which I'm super excited about. Get to see Katrina. It's our birthday weekend. We have birthdays that are very close to each other. So I will be celebrating my birthday with friends, and I'll be back on Monday. I cancel classes on Monday. My students aren't too upset. I only canceled one. My genetics class, I gave them some work to do on their own. My 497 class, they're going to have to meet because Career Services is coming to help them do resumes. So, oh well. Okay, last thing, and then I have some thank yous. On my shop, I'm still carrying everything, that you can get from most of the distributors. I don't have everything, but I have a lot of the usual stuff. I stock everything each week. If you have anything you need, just let me know. I'll get it if I can get it. But one of the things I've changed is I've added a new category, and it's just new items. This is my friend Tangi gave me the idea. She's like, I don't want to have to go through your shop every time and look for the new things. Can you just put them all in one category? And I did. So it says new items. I will post those things in there until I have to reorder them. Once I reorder them, they're no longer new. They'll go into the other category. So that's how you can see what's new in my shop. I am still running free shipping for $30 or more for a U.S. domestic. So if you're interested in that. I still have a few clearance charts. But, market's coming up. And we're going to have a great time. I've got big plans for market. So just let me know. Lisha's going. Bridget's not going with me this year. Bridget, she's choosing the Boy Scouts over us. She has to do something for Boy Scouts that weekend. So it's just me and Lisha, and we've been talking, and we've got some plans to make this very quick for those of you that order from me. Thank yous. I want to thank several people, because if it weren't for these people, December would have been even worse than it was. I have my friends that texted me and kept in touch with me during those times. But then there are people that don't know how important you were to me. And those include 2 Michelles. Because of their Vlogmas, Michelle, Rudy, I watched your Vlogmas, and I probably did not comment on anything because you were doing giveaways with each one, and I'm horrible at commenting. But I watched yours every time it popped up. They were a highlight of my day. I love to see the interactions between you and your family. Gary and Joshie are amazing, hilarious, and even my husband and my son would come in and watch them. We enjoyed watching your family so much, and they were very important during a very hard time. So thank you. And Michelle, Rudy, I watched yours every day, and I enjoyed watching you open your threads. Your what it's called, yarn, and all of that. So again, we all know how important Michelle Bendy is to the sanity of Flosstube, and just to let you know, it was very important to me, and I appreciate it. There were several of you that I watched your videos, and they were very therapeutic. So thank you to Flosstube. You don't know how important you are. We're finding this out right now as we've lost a member. My heart goes out to her family, and a very joyful person that we've lost. It's a good community, though. So thank you, thank you. I'm glad that I'm part of it. See you soon.